So let's take a look at some of these problems together. So if we're looking at question number 2, the directions say write a decimal and a fraction for the part of the grid that is shaded. So as we look at this grid, you will notice it is divided into 10 parts. So if we are writing a fraction, let's put our fraction line. The total number of parts is 10, so 10 is written in our denominator. Of those 10, count how many parts have been shaded. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 goes in our numerator. So 5/10 of the diagram have been shaded. To write that as a decimal, here's how we do it. Start by putting your decimal point. On the left side, that's where our whole numbers go. Because there are no whole entire diagrams colored, we put a 0 in the whole number section. Because we're only working with tenths, we're only going to use the tenths place. There are 5/10 shaded, so we are going to put a 5 in the tenths place. Both of these would be read as 5/10. So let's take a look at another situation. I apologize, my computer does not want to scroll. Here we go. Okay, so let's come over here now and let's look at number 3. Number 3 has been divided into 100 little parts. So if we are writing this as a fraction, because there are 100 little parts, we would write 100 in our denominator. Now, to find your numerator, count how many parts are shaded green. If you counted 4, you are correct. So we put that as our numerator. Now, how do we write that as a decimal? Well, put your decimal point. There are no whole entire diagrams shaded, so we put a 0 on the whole number side of the decimal point. There are no complete tenths shaded, so in the tenths place, we have to put a 0. Remember, a tenths represents the entire column. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 little hundredths, so in the hundredths place, we put a 4. So here is our fraction, and here is our decimal. So let's look at number 4 together. In number 4, again, we see that the diagrams have been broken up into hundredths. Here, you're going to notice that we have one whole entire diagram shaded. So when we are writing our fraction, we need to make a mixed number and show that we have one whole thing shaded. Of the second one, it's divided into hundredths, so we put 100 as our denominator, and then we count all of the hundredths to get our top number. Now, you don't have to sit and count all the individual blocks. Remember, look for the tenths. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or 5/10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives us a total of 54 hundredths. How we would write that as a decimal would look something like this. Put your decimal point. We have one whole this time, so we're going to put a 1 on the whole number side. We have 54 hundredths, so we're going to put that on the decimal point side. There's our 5/10 and our 4 hundredths that are left over. All right, number 5, continuing on, divided into hundredths. Count how many hundredths have been used. Put that as your numerator. Develop your decimal. There are no holes, so fill in the other side, and keep on going from there. I hope these 2 sample problems were much of a help to you. So give these a try and see how it goes.